Happy Wednesday, great people. Thank you for joining me on our weekly Compton update. I have some good things to share with you all. Also some updates on deadlines. I am currently streaming both live on Facebook and Instagram, so if you see me looking up or down, that's why. Trying to connect with both feeds. But for all of you that, for those of you that may be new, I will go over our agenda now briefly, and then we'll get right into it. Today's agenda, we will provide the latest in coronavirus data. We'll also share the current and upcoming relief efforts, as well as updates on testing. We'll go over the census. We'll also talk about voting. We'll also review our bond discussion, which is our strategy to repair our entire street system, renovate our parks, add more lights, just revitalize our city. I'll also share the latest in Compton Street Reconstruction updates, and then I will also give you the latest in any upcoming events or opportunities to connect, and then we'll go into live questions and discussion. So if you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to just drop them below, and we'll grab them and address those at that time. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining in. Hi, Yolanda. All right, I'm going to get started. For this week, as of October 12th, 8 p.m., the latest in COVID-19 statistics throughout LA County, there are 283,750 confirmed COVID-19 cases. There have been 6,790 fatalities. In Compton, our total count is 4,234 residents have confirmed that they have COVID-19, and we have had 75 deaths. Yes. Facebook. Oh, sorry about that. I have to actually start over because I had my line muted. For those on Instagram, please bear with me. Today's agenda will include coronavirus data updates, as well as relief efforts, testing. I will go over the latest in the census. We'll talk about voting. We'll go over our bond discussion, and then we'll also go over the latest in Compton Street reconstruction projects. And then I'll give you a few updates on upcoming events, and then we'll go to live questions and discussion. So if you are new, feel free to drop your questions or comments below, and we do have a team member, Candace, standing by to grab those questions, and I will address them at the end as usual. So I'll get right into it. In LA County, there have been 283,750 confirmed COVID-19 cases as of October 12th. There have been 6,790 COVID-19 related deaths throughout the county of Los Angeles. In Compton, our confirmed COVID-19 count is 4,234 cases within our city borders, Compton residents, and we have had, unfortunately, 75 fatalities. And so, again, we are urging everyone to please do all that you can to just adhere to the best safety guidelines and precautions. I'm thankful that as I go throughout the community, I'm seeing people wearing their masks and observing social distancing. We are still able to provide you all with free testing at Gonzalez Park. This testing is available Sunday through Thursday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. This is a permanent testing facility. You will receive your results within 48 hours. Most people are reporting that they receive their test results within 12 hours, but the typical is about 24. And it's a great way to just make sure you are tested. There is no limit on how many times you can test. I know people that go every week to ensure that they are safe as they interact with their family and go back and forth to work. So please take advantage of this free resource. We worked really hard to get this resource into the city of Compton, and it is a use it or lose it resource. So we need people to take advantage of this resource so that we can make sure that it is still active and available for our community. We also have several food giveaways still happening within the city of Compton. If you need specific details, please access our COVID-19 resource guide. It's available at comptoncity.org/covid19.asb. There is all the information available about the various food pantries that are operating throughout the week. The Compton Food Pantry is still operable at 700 North Bullis Road, operated by the Compton Chamber of Commerce. I am aware that there are several organizations that are still functioning and still able to service their population, so there is food available within our city borders. Please take advantage of those resources and spread the word for those that may need it. Going on to the census, like you, I've been following the back and forth and the battles happening at the federal level to curtail the ability of people to complete the census. So as of today, the deadline is tomorrow. So again, the census deadline as of today is actually tomorrow, October 15th. There was a legal move instituted by our president to actually curtail the ability of people to respond. If you have not completed your census, please go to www.2020census.gov. And again, that's 2020census.gov. Please make sure you and your family are counted. If this was not important, there would not be such a critical fight at the federal level to prevent people from completing the census. In my opinion, this is an affront and an intentional assault really on communities of color to ensure that we are undercounted and under-resourced. So please do your part. If you love Compton, you love your families, you want to ensure that we secure our federal funding over the next 10 years at the highest level possible, please take 5 minutes and complete your census. Thank you. Voting. Please remember it is time to check your voter registration and also your status to vote. If you haven't done so already, you can visit lavote.net to check your status, register, and also access critical resources. You can learn about the voting locations that are available throughout the community. In order to be eligible to vote in the November 3rd election, you must make sure that you are registered by October 19th. So if you are not registered, you still have time. You can register this week and still vote for the November 3rd election. I'm just encouraging everyone, if you are an avid voter, don't assume that your voter registration is still active. I highly recommend that you consider re-registering as time goes by and as our signatures change. There could be a multitude of reasons why your ballot may not be counted. So this is obviously a very critical election. We need to ensure that every single ballot is that's cast is actually counted. So please do your part. It takes literally 1 minute to confirm your status. And just spread the word. I've been encouraging people to just hold informal conversations with the people that you know about voting. You can talk about the upcoming measures. You can share your picks for judges, judicial candidates, as well as various seats from district attorneys on up and down. So it's really critical that we have these conversations. I'll actually be releasing my own voter guide this week about my recommendations, and then I'll also take some time to go through some of the critical measures that I think you all should know that will impact our community. There are several voting locations within the city of Compton. One particular location is located at the Compton Library. That's 240 West Compton Boulevard. You also can go to Lueders Park. That's over in the 2nd District, 1500 Rosecrans. Also, the East Rancho Dominguez Library, located at 4420 East Rose Street, is also a location. And I believe Compton Youth Build is a location as well, and they're located on Rosecrans, just west of Willowbrook Road. So please check out these locations, cast your ballot, call your friends, call your family, make sure that everyone is prepared and able to vote this upcoming election. Moving on to bond discussion. You can find the bond presentation that I did with our city manager, Craig Cornwell, on YouTube, as well as if you have local access in the city of Compton, we'll be circulating on Channel 36. We'll be playing back on the city's website as well as social media outlets. So it's a great way to just take less than an hour and find out what is going on in your city. If you are ever concerned about street repairs, the speed in which it takes to get streets repaired, if you're thinking about lighting, additional park improvements, just different upgrades to your facilities. If you ever came to City Hall to pay your water bill, you've noticed that you feel like you're in a blast from the past, from the 70s, then this is an opportunity for the city of Compton to address deferred maintenance that has occurred for decades and bring our city up to the 21st century. So again, this will not raise your taxes. Again, this is not a new tax. This is not a new tax. This is not a new tax. I want to say it 3 times. And this is just a way for us to use existing resources, existing funding that we receive on an annual basis in a smart way to leverage it. When you think about how you purchase your home, how you buy a car, we obviously don't pay for the entire asset in cash. We usually pay in payments. So this is the same concept that cities have used for decades to actually complete large critical investments throughout their city in a short amount of time. So again, learn about why we even have potholes to begin with. One tidbit, a pothole actually develops after about 25 to 30 years of a lack of maintenance. And so what we have in the city of Compton with our street system is an infrastructure street system failure that has occurred from decades of neglect. So again, this bond will actually bring us where we need to be. We'll be able to add more street lighting. We'll be able to really take our parks to a whole new level. I'm really happy about the work we've done so far in ensuring that our parks have new playground equipment, but that's not it. We still need exercise equipment in some locations. We need walking paths. We need all the amenities that we enjoy in other places right here in our own city. So we have plans to make that happen, as well as other technology upgrades throughout our city. So get those details in the bond discussion. Also, moving on to Compton Street reconstruction projects, there are several construction sites currently occurring throughout the city of Compton relative to CIP 1801. And I will give you a look ahead of what you can expect to see over the next week within the city. So we will have some additional asphalt work going on at 134th Street in Elva. They'll be removing some remainder of the asphalt before they begin prepping the base material, and then they'll start installing the new asphalt within this area within the next couple of weeks. They will begin removing asphalt on Grandee the last week in October. I know that people on Grandee have been patiently waiting. They started with the curbs and gutters and doing all the things that needed to occur, and then they'll get to actually reinstalling the new street shortly. There are also several slurry seal projects that we are hoping to be able to complete as well through the rest of the year. There was one unplanned expense that has really impacted our budget that we'll be having a presentation at the upcoming council meeting. So if you all have time, tune in and just learn about what's happening, how the city of Compton is moving forward, and then you'll also get a preview of projects that are either in the pipeline or that are just recently approved. And again, council meetings are every Tuesday, and we begin approximately 5:30 p.m. Just a few updates on events. Before I go into the live questions, this Saturday, Councilwoman Chambers will be hosting a food box giveaway in District 1 at Gonzalez Park from 9 to 11 a.m. All Compton residents are welcome. Also, Children Striving Together will be hosting their 4th annual Masquerade virtual fundraiser gala. And again, that's at Saturday the 17th at 5 o'clock p.m. You can visit them on Instagram at Children Striving Together, or you can sign up on Eventbrite. This is a great way to support a real organization in Compton doing real work with young people, and that has been consistent for many years, affecting change. So I highly recommend getting involved, supporting, and donating. Also, we are pleased to partner once more with By COVID. We'll be hosting another event actually in partnership with Love and Unity. Love and Unity is a wonderful church in the city of Compton that is also a part of our Compton United relief effort. They step up anytime there's a need and are just truly an incredible congregation, great leadership under Apostle Hill. But they'll be hosting a free COVID-19 testing event on this Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So you actually can drive through and get your COVID-19 test if you don't feel like going to Gonzalez Park. So spread the word, completely free. We're just asking that you register at buycovid.org so that we can have enough medical personnel to assist you swiftly. Also, this Saturday, the Latino Chamber of Commerce will be hosting a food giveaway at Senor Cliffs on Alondra Boulevard from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. There's also going to be additional resources at the Compton Creek, an additional event from 10 to 12 from Lot to Spot. They are also an additional team that will be providing some great input and opportunity for you to design the Compton Creek. So they'll be combining efforts. It's a great way to pick up some great food, maybe for you or your neighbors, and then also provide your input about what you'd like to see on the Compton Creek. And this is a funded project that is underway in the city of Compton, courtesy of our Assemblyperson Mike Gibson and his efforts through the state of California. Also, we are certain to post information on the city's website, emails. We actually are prepping the next quarterly newsletter. We had the first round delivered to your door, so there's another newsletter on our desk being prepared to be sent to you. If you have any information, if your organization and you'd like us to share what you are working on, email us and we'll be happy to share. And that's contactmayor@comptoncity.org. People ask the question, well, how do you share information from certain organizations? It's really simple. You can either email us or tag us on social media. I do not have a dedicated social media person, so I do my best with going through emails, through DMs, but I highly recommend email because we have a team in place that can grab that information. And so now I will get to your questions.
Not too many.
Okay. We are prepping the questions as they come in. One question I have is, how close are we to get permits for parking in our neighborhoods? This is a wonderful question. We're actually working on permit parking as we speak. We have begun the process to do a study, a parking assessment study throughout the city. It will be twofold. It will lay out the areas that are highly recommended for permit parking, and then it will also identify areas that we actually can install parallel or perpendicular parking to multiply the number of spaces that are available to you in your neighborhoods. And so we are beginning this process. We're hoping to actually have this process completed over the next couple of months, and then be ready to roll out permit parking and also some new parking options within our neighborhoods early part of 2021. So we are moving forward. I thank you all that have taken the time to voice your interest in permit parking. I truly take your input very seriously, and I was able to move forward because of the amount of support that you all have expressed. So thank you for that. Next question is, when will street ticketing start? Street ticketing has begun. I know that we are still in the pandemic and many people are still working from home, but we have resumed ticketing. We are still looking at ways to really work with communities that have either long ranges of no parking through street sweeping days to try to limit that so that people can get fewer infractions on those time periods. But we are still ticketing, so please be careful. Please move your car. And if you have any challenges, reach out. But the ticketing has resumed, and we did notify the community a couple of months ago when we began that process once more. The next question I have is, when will South Willow Street be repaved? South Willow Street is on our priority projects. We have a pavement management study that was completed some years ago that we are actually in process of updating as we speak. The next update will be completed within the next month or so, but it will give us a new snapshot of current conditions. The first study we have was actually done in 2014/15, so it gave a snapshot about the city at that time. But we did want to update this study so that we can get real data in real time, ensure that we're selecting the worst streets first so that we can move forward. But I can tell you that Willow, Spring, other streets within that area are on the priority list for repair. And Lord willing, team willing, that the bond is passed, we'll actually be able to give you all a great window of when your street will be done. But those are on priority streets because they are in bad shape. Next question I have is, any projects for the empty lot on Willowbrook and Compton across the street from the Blue Line station? Yes, there are actually a couple proposals that we are reviewing now that will include some additional development there, and I will share more details once they get to that stage. But there are plans for that area, and you should actually hear some updates within the next couple of months. But very exciting, more opportunities for our city. Next question I have is, when is Caldwell getting speed bumps? And then a note to explain the process. So Caldwell just completed a really extensive reconstruction process from city limit to city limit. We are still in the reconstruction phase, and there will be streets that are identified for speed bumps throughout the the traffic study. So I mentioned earlier that we're doing a traffic study to be able to assess areas that are eligible for permit parking, for additional parallel parking, and then we'll also be doing assessments for red curbs and then also speed bumps. So this is all within the same engineering study, and then we'll be able to move forward with a citywide recommendation for additional speed bumps. We do realize that as these streets are being reconstructed, people are now moving really swiftly through the city, and it's not safe, but we are really prioritizing those areas that are closest to schools, and then we're working our way out. So we will be installing speed bumps on a citywide strategy within the next year. But I do want to encourage you, if you live on some smaller residential areas and you and your neighbors believe that you can benefit from speed bumps, to also email us, because we'll be working on some of the circulation streets, and then we'll be moving into the residential areas. So you can also email us your recommendations at contactmayor@comptoncity.org, and we're adding those to our internal list. Next question or comment is, please have parking enforcement do their rounds on all streets to allow the sweeper to do their job. I've never seen parking enforcement on our street. Thank you for that. I hear parking enforcement out. I've had complaints from some residents that say parking enforcement is following the street sweeper and giving them tickets. So I know that parking enforcement is out there. They may not be on that specific route or the time that you may have noticed them, but they are out there providing tickets to people on street sweeping days. Next question is, when are you all fixing Grandee Avenue by 132nd and El Segundo? Grandee Avenue is actually under reconstruction now. They are doing the curbs and sidewalks, gutters now, and then you'll start seeing pavement removed at the end of October. So within about 2 weeks' time, I actually shared the construction update earlier in the live. So Grandee is currently under reconstruction as we speak. Next question I have is, when we get the bright street lights on Bradfield Avenue between Compton Boulevard and Rosecrans, I think we missed the when will we. We are actually, so we just completed a street lighting project this year with Edison. We also have funding set aside in this year's budget to actually renovate or improve the lighting that are actually city owned. So we have a certain number of street lights within the city. The city of Compton owns a percentage, so Edison owns their percentage. Edison completed their pilot and changed all their lights to LEDs, and now Compton is actually changing all of our lights to the same caliber of LEDs. So this project will happen within this fiscal year, which begins for us July 1 through June 30th. So you will see some new improvements on that. And then also within the bond I mentioned, we do plan to add additional pedestrian scale lighting, which are shorter street poles, but they expand a greater lighting canopy and brighter lights on the sidewalk. So we are definitely prioritizing lighting up the city right now in real time. The next question I have is, the homeless community has taken over Looters Park. Is there a plan to relocate them and clean them up? Yes, absolutely. We actually discussed this briefly in our council meeting on Tuesday. There is a plan to deploy our homeless service providers and relocate these individuals to other shelter options, but this is definitely underway, and we're preparing when we'll be able to actually open our parks fully. So this is definitely a safety concern. We want to make sure that we address this issue. So please keep tracking it, keep watching it, and you should see some improvement shortly on that. The next question I have is, can we add some light up crosswalks in the city? Yes, we can. Those lighted crosswalks are actually a part of our Safe Streets or Complete Streets program. We have 2 of our major streets under redesign now, Compton Boulevard and Wilmington, that will actually install lighted crosswalks and other curb gutters, additional bike lane markings, and additional amenities to our streets. So that's something that's happening now. And then also we are planning for our additional reconstruction projects to also include lighted crosswalks. So all new streets that you see on major street reconstruction will include lighted crosswalks. So yes, we are. Next question I have is, are we getting a new police department? We are not. I'll address the 2 issues or 2 options. So I don't know if the question is relative. Are we starting our own police force, or are we no longer going to have the sheriffs? Currently, the city is still under contract with the sheriff's department. There are plans within our bond to actually redo or renovate the sheriff's station, which is actually a city-owned building, and we actually plan to repurpose this to a public safety center. So it will not only potentially house law enforcement, but other service providers, mental health professionals, and other people that are a part of the continuum of safety and care for the city of Compton. So we are envisioning doing some improvements and upgrades, but you all will be well informed. We'll definitely get your input and keep you abreast of what those plans are. But we are doing the work now to make provision so that we can have the resources to actually do these much needed improvements to this particular city facility, which is located right next to City Hall. So those are all the questions that I have today. Thank you all for tuning in. Try to keep them brief, but power packed with some good information. If you all have any questions, please leave them in the comment below. We will pull them. I usually go back and read them later at night when I have a chance. So please know we do review what you all say, and we make adjustments accordingly. So thank you all so very much for tuning in. And if you have a pressing or burning question, again, I urge you to email us at contactmayor@comptoncity.org. Thank you all, and I will see you next week. Take care.